Because we are live. Welcome, everybody. The Michigan Bros Grow Show, episode 233. I'm Big
Cheers.
Pwned. That's Nut Tree 420. And that's Spartan Grown.
And that's big
Uh,
fun.
yeah. I hope everybody out there is doing good. We are just chilling, talking about all kinds of stuff.
I was just creating
I'll
the
put my book away.
Pathfinder
Yep.
character. Well, beginning to. I've made 2 choices so far.
Yeah. A busy day today. Went up to the
Busy day?
Fledge. Yep.
Yeah.
Got new fish. Went to work.
How was work when you went back?
Still
Was it
got
good?
water.
Was it
Yep.
easy? Good.
No, I got really tired.
I
Like
did. I fell asleep on the
the
couch.
afternoon, evening
Yep. Yep.
hump.
Exactly.
Feel like it hit me as soon as I got to work, and I was just like, I was in there watering, and I was just like, I might go lay on the couch in the office for like a minute,
The
but I
thing is so
didn't.
stiff too. It's like laying on the ground, bro.
Well, there's a bunch of shit on it, so I was just like,
Oh.
I'll go home. I guess I'll go home.
I'm blaming the Spartan puke, man. That stuff makes me. It's like when it hits
I
me. It's
think.
like,
Well, yeah, I did hit that right when I left your house.
I think it's like I was telling you before the show, it's like a punch to the fucking brain. I'm not the greatest fan of the flavor, but the fucking high is a lot. But when it wears off, it's just like I get so tired.
Yeah, it's definitely narcotic, that's for sure. But I mean, if you need to sleep, that's a good one. But yeah, the initial high is great. It's like that Donnie. It's just like groggy. What I get from Obama, stuff like that. There's Red coming in hot.
Shout
What's
out
up, Red?
chat, Weezing in chat, and Kurt Gerber and Sheldon Estates, Pet G, Denial and Error, Taylor Wilson.
J5.
She's the first one in.
That
Danny
guy.
Red,
He's got an
Danny
Android name. J5.po20.
J5.pho20.
You guys had a busy day too at the Fledge.
Cheers, anything,
Right.
Rose.
Sorry, I couldn't hear for the first second we popped in. I had my
Oh,
my
I was
my
saying y'all probably had a busy day too. I was just
yeah. Busy
complaining
day.
about how busy it was.
It's been a busy week. It's been a busy year.
Yeah, busy year, that's for sure.
Busy year.
Cheers, Indica B. He came over and visited me. I got some pre rolls right here. I
Yeah,
smoked one
cheers.
with him. I forgot to tell you, Baked. I got some pre rolls.
Oh, nice.
Indica.
He forgets to tell me after I'm over there.
This is the one we smoked together. That chrome white. I like that one.
Oh, okay.
It's
I like the labels.
the white by Gelato 33 by Cherry Limeade.
Okay. I like the front and the back of that.
Yeah.
I'm not a gelato fan, but once you
What
start
about this
mixing
one?
genetics, you never know.
Papaya.
Papaya, his papaya is really good. I hated my papaya, but I like his.
His Orangeasm. That's his most popular one.
Yeah, that's a delicious one.
That's a good one. I might fuck with that one like right now. I'm gonna set that one down. Cherry Garcia is another one I like a lot.
Sure.
Cherry Garcia.
I need one that like wakes me up. I think I'm all out of. Oh, I got Bliss here.
Detroit Runts. Yeah, there you go. Bliss or ODH, man. That's what you need.
Yeah. We got some ODHCs.
Seeds? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
down
Yeah.
to
Like
Florida,
ODH
back to
Vortex
Florida.
seeds. Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
I'm excited to hear how those go.
Yep.
Real quick, I see Daddy Red in chat. Cheers, Daddy Red.
Oh, cheers.
Good to see you in chat.
Snuck in there.
Everybody else in chat. Cheers, everybody jumping in. I do see Indica. Speaking of the devil, he's in the chat there. Wheezing the juice as always. J5. What's up, everybody? Kurt Gerber said hello to all of us. Hello, Kurt Gerber. What's going on? I see Spartan's dear Emily in there. Cheers, anything grows. What's going on, everybody? Pat, Tara, of course. She's being held up and miss you dearly. Becca is as well. You said it, man. Busy day, exhausted. So
yeah,
Becca and Ruben are sitting this one out. Shout out to Fergroli. He may also be exhausted or also getting ready for. I can't spill the beans. Anyways, he's got stuff going on. Let's see here. The Fledge. Shout out to everybody at the Fledge. Shout out to I'm gonna smoke a joint. Also, since Spartan's shouting out the joint gifts, I got a doobie. Came in this little guy right here from 321 Genetics. Cheers, 321.
Oh, nice.
Thank you very much. I think it's Cap Junkie. I think it's Cap Junkie.
Okay.
I'll talk about it, I'm not sure. Fagroli had done some stuff for him, and one of them was Werewolf. One was, what was the other one? Mac something. A couple other Mac Cap something. Maybe one of them was a Cap Mac or something. I don't know. I don't hear them. So they were good. Fruity, like papaya fruit. Like, just got different ambiance in here. Like pineapple-y, but I definitely got like this. What was it? It was, you might know. So Tropicana Cookies is like the mother. It was like Tropin something. I don't know. But dude, it had this. I can almost smell it right now. Maybe no, it's not this. It had like this very nice tangerine flavor. It wasn't like that orange, And
tangy.
Yeah, you know how you get like the tangy, or even in Trop Cookies, or even AK, what was it? AK, not AK, Agent Orange, or one of those other. I don't know, whatever they're, Jelly Bean, any of those. They have like the orange, and then it's kind of got like I don't know, it's got like a little sharp, also sharpness to it, or chemical something, fresh carpet. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
That. This was like
I love a fresh carpet.
A fresh walking into the carpet store, man. Remember when they used to have an actual carpet and tile store?
They got them all over this town. I just don't know who goes into them.
Go in there
and how they stay open.
But on a friend, that's what I'm talking about. So
it looks like we win.
It almost had like a pledge, like a lemon pledge. I don't want to say chemical in a bad way, but like almost as if it was not natural. But it's grown great. He grows great weed. Fagroli could testify for him as well.
So this lemon breath?
No, I don't think it was. It was like a Cat Mac or something. It was
I'm looking at his menu right now. He had Point Break, Ted Logan, Cap Junkie, Donnie Burger, and Werewolf is what I.
Might have been Cap. It might have been Cap Junkie, and it might have been it was not where I think it was Cap Junkie. It might have been Cap Junkie. Okay, what was the other one you said there? Nut Tree.
Point Break, Ted Logan.
You know what? I think it was the Point Break.
But then I'm seeing some seeds. Then I'm seeing some seeds.
Yeah, he does 321 Genetics. Yeah, he's up there. And I haven't seen him up at the Fledge in quite some time, so it was good to see him back up there. He shared, like I said, the Stubby with us. He shared some flour with us. We shared in return. And just maybe to get the Spartan rolling on this, as always, I tried a different methodology with making RSO, where I normally put the alcohol and the flour all together, and then I put the mixture in the freezer thinking that I know what I'm doing. And for the first time, I actually froze the material and also froze the alcohol, and then combined the two, and then soaked it for the time in the freezer. And with both the solvent and the material being cold, I had an incredibly different looking consistency, much more on the amber side, much less on I never really had a green. It was always an amber, but let's say a lighter amber versus a darker amber. A significant flavor difference, and honestly, I even added the MCT oil, and it still is very thick. Like, it still has a viscosity to it. It works through the syringe, and it's enough to like dose very well, but it's also enough that if you do dose it on your finger, it doesn't just run down your hand, which is really nice too. So we were able to find a nice dosage with it. But yeah, all of the information, and all the methodologies that I've kind of been formulating and putting together, I never really put the two and two together until I'm not sure who it was that I was listening to recently that was talking about polarized solvents, and in the way that the cold temperature keeps them apart, but there has to be cold first before they touch. And I never really put that part into the equation. I always just thought, okay, get it cold, even though it was touching. So yeah, so definitely as a objective, science right there, citizen science, that it worked great. Cold.
Yeah, and what I think about it as too is kind of almost like a de-waxing, because like
Yeah,
the colder you keep it, the more the wax stays solid, and you'll be able to filter that out. So you want it to be cold as shit as much as possible.
and there was much more, not floaties, but like contamination.
And
Usually,
wax and lipids and stuff.
yeah, in the like filter screen when I ran through the Munkinger funnel, like usually there's a lot of it looks like dry sift, which you imagine is just like stalk stem, just waxes basically, plant cellulose, mostly probably trichome waxes specifically because it's very sandy and granular and light in color, white almost. But yeah, this was there was just more of that, a lot more of that, especially towards the end. So I definitely concur with that methodology being a superior methodology. I can't say that it really affected yield. It definitely cut down yield a little bit, but at the same time, potency is going to go up, and I mean it's just a better product overall. So, and of course, the singing dog is back.
Huh. New tune.
He has the same spirit.
Yeah, I like it.
It's funny because my mom says that DOG like left early, and waited around, and his shell was just kind of lingering around. And Ruben was born in November, and Ruben took on his spirit. Ruben does strange mannerisms, like he'll sleep at the end of the bed just like DOG did. I'm like in DOG's spot, not like in a spot, but like in DOG's spot. It's kind of strange. But yeah, he's singing to everybody right now.
He's got Xena's interest over here. Xena's looking.
Nice.
Like, wondering what's going on.
I want to shout out Gems and Genetics. They're not able to make the show last week. It was a Super Bowl, I understood, and then this week he had a bunch of stuff going down. He just couldn't make it, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to get him on the show. But I'm still looking forward to going out there in June. I was excited to see that he just picked up the Meadow Dope Boys. Did you see that? So they have Meadow Dope Boys, and then they have a cover band for was it Grateful Dead cover band? I think it's a Grateful Dead cover band too.
Oh, like
No, it's
High Rider,
Pink Floyd.
No, that was last year. Pink Floyd. I think this year it's a.
I thought
Dead
they were doing
cover band.
Echoes again.
They're doing a laser light show. They didn't specify on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure who got the equipment for the laser lights. I mean, maybe they're renting them through that same band or something, but it is going to be part of the attraction. From my understanding, is the laser light show will be there. Maybe Gems and Genetics purchased the lasers for the laser light show, and it was just something they put on for Echoes. I really don't know how it worked. I suppose we need to get Gems and Genetics on here. Holy cow!
There you go. Blue Kiss got it straight. Shout out to Blue Kiss, the
Hey Ryder,
fairy weed mother. There, she says, "Hey Ryder, it's a Grateful Dead cover band." Okay, well, that'd be cool, jam band.
yeah, Jan, I'm happily heady for that one. Let me see our dancing bears. Boop. Above me here. They're normally lit up. Well, they're not lit up. What else, Steely? There we go.
Nice.
All right, Steely. I know.
What did you guys do out there? Did you meet a lot of people today? What was the attendance like today out there?
Great attendance today.
It seemed busy.
Huge shout out to everybody that came out there today and showed love and support and got a chance to bop around. Blue Kiss, shout out to you. I see you in chat. She was up there today. Big Char showed up, showed out. Him and his wife came out, as always, showing love and support. Saw Red Eye out there. Cheers, Red Eye. Red Eye came through, showing love and support. Hunter, shout out to you, brother. I know you're out there hanging out. Everybody else. Not Your Grandma 313, of course, and Fergroli was there, and of course, don't forget Third Eye Muse, who promotes and gets it all going, and you have to shout out the Fledge the community center, and all of the support that they give the community of Lansing. Food pantry, clothing closet, a place to have activities, a place for people to do education, some education that may be considered taboo, like mushroom growing and things like that. So, and shout out to Winewood Organics just for the hell of it.
Hell yeah!
I
Shout out
like
to
that shirt.
Eric and all the people out there at Winewood. I love that fucking wine.
Here's another dog. It is the Michigan Bros and Dogs Grow Show tonight. If you guys haven't noticed, this is good. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. This is tasty.
I was gonna say shout out to Indica B. Look at that resin ring I'm getting off the
Rue?
Indica B, man.
No, that's what they call it, the Rue.
Oh, that's not what I call it?
It's a slang term for the resin ring.
Oh, I just like to use plain terms. This is
So then I put an Australian accent on it. And I always go the Rue. And no one understands anything, so it's always fun.
well. I just wanted to say good job, Indica B, on this orangeism. We can see him at the pledge. I think maybe the next one. Oh, and I wanted to shout out for Growley because when we got back, oh, look at this. Blue Kiss Gardens got some Spartan Puke concentrate today. Lord help me.
Nice.
I was just going to say, when we got back here, I took a much bigger dab than what I should have taken of the Spartan Puke. In fact, I took, I think, 3 big rips and then fucking had to pass it because my throat was closing up on to baked, and he had to finish the fucking dab. But I was fucking ripped from that. So, yeah, big punch to the brain.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm not a huge fan of the flavor, but the high is nice.
I'm with you, but I like the BHO better than I liked the rosin.
I thought the BHO from Ferroli was, it had more of like a tinge or tart to the citrus.
I think it's like a tropical, like a mango. It's like a tropical going rotten, but it hasn't gone rotten yet. More sour.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's see what else. I gotta hook up some CO2 later.
What do you mean? That. Oh, you have a tank? You just swap them?
Yeah, I got a tank. Shout out not to GrowGen. They make you like, now they're all corporate, so they bought the local place, and then there's all these bullshit rules like can't bring a 20-pound tank through the front door to get it filled. You need to walk in, pay, and then drive around all the way back, which is a long building, and then swap it out back there for no reason. And so you get all these, and then they always want your phone number. I'm so sick of it. It's like, I'm just sick of it.
You don't have to give me your phone number, though. You can say no.
I know. Well, that's what I did. I was like, I don't want to give you your phone number today. I said, I just want to give you money.
Are you on natural gas?
I have natural gas at the house.
Yourself a Titan 8-burner.
Oh, for CO2, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's getting to the point where it's like there's only one place.
Yeah, those off-gas stuff, though. People have issues sometimes.
I've always just thought of those things. Those damn tanks are just they're just as dangerous as having a gas burner.
No, because they're just pure gas. You're not getting anything else.
No, in the safety-wise, having tanks laying around, if you don't have those things,
safety-wise, yeah.
Don't know proper tank storage. They don't keep them chained. You must have a chain around your tanks. If you don't have a chain around your tank and that thing tips over, it's a rocket shooting across through your house, through your neighbor's house, probably. Those things are dangerous.
Some people might be okay with that, Red.
People drive around with 3 of them in the back of their truck clanging around. Dude, this is just fucking crazy, man. He raises his hand.
I gotta go get him.
Dude, I don't want to be driving.
That's the problem, is like, it's so inconvenient. There's no services anymore that like just swap out an aluminum CO2 tank or deliver. like they do to like shops for welding, you know, tanks and
That's
stuff.
kind of what I mean. If you can run some flex pecs,
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about the burners that I saw was they add BTUs. They add some heat, but
if you have a sealed, it's so minimal, dude. My burner
yeah,
goes
that's
off.
what I also read. So
My
it's
burner
like,
goes
yeah.
off for like 15 seconds once every 3 days.
Yeah.
And seriously, I'm dead serious. Like if I'm out there working, it won't go off for another couple of days because I'll add 2,000 ppm of CO2 to the room, and it'll take 2 days to deplete it.
Yeah.
Nighttime, the microbial life in the soil, the CO2 goes up to 1,200 just when the lights are off naturally. And that's with tons of airflow in the room. The floor is being circulated. It's not just stale CO2. It's like CO2 monitors up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's something going on in the room where like it's making CO2, and then there's
She claps some red looks.
there's the depletion, but there's the like I mean. In a tent, if you have a tent, yeah, dude, you're gonna you have a fire in your tent, it's gonna raise the temperature. But if you have a 12 by 12 or for my case, a 16 by 16 foot room, that little burner, those 8 little burners are going, they're 8 feet in the air, you know, and well,
Yeah.
2 feet from each wall, you know, stick to the regulations, 2 feet from each wall, the ceiling, all that stuff, and then it, you know, it goes off until, you know, it travels up. I mean, it has a dead band of like 50 bar or whatever it is, and then, you know, it shuts off. And by then, if you set it, it'll go up to, you know, 1,200 ppm. And it's not like that burner's going off. It's not like the CO2 is dropping below that every hour. You know, and it takes,
it does take a while.
It might take the rest of the day cycle, and then as soon as it hits that night cycle, guess what? The CO2 goes back up naturally again. So like I'm saying, like maybe once every 3 days is pushing it, but it might go off once a day.
Well, mine's not going back up at night.
You said it's not going back up at night?
That room's so sealed. I have to, yeah.
That's
Like,
what I mean. It should go up at night if it's all sealed up. Then you got.
Where's it gonna come from if they're already eating it up? That's the thing.
Oh, they're not using it at night. That's the thing. They're not using it at night, and it's being produced from the roof.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. If I didn't have CO2 at night, it would drop to like 300 because the room's just a sealed environment. There's no fresh CO2 being implemented anywhere.
You know, you don't need it.
If you have a perfectly sealed room, you have to 24/7 implement
I'm telling
CO2.
you, man, we have sealed rooms. We have perfectly sealed rooms. I sealed those things with 6 mil. One layer of 6 mil did my entire grow space. Sealed that one seam of tape on the entire grow room. I have 1 seam of tape. I got photos, and that's just up in the middle. That's it. And that's it. I mean, it goes from the top to the bottom. It's all fucking silicone, and you could fill that room with fucking water if you wanted to. Aside from the screw holes probably in the plastic, but the CO2, I mean, if I go out there and it's before the lights are going to kick on, it's 800 ppm, 900 ppm. The lights will kick on, and give it a couple hours. It might deplete down to the time where it's going to kick off, but it runs for 15 seconds. And dude, the amount of gas that I use, I use no.
The gas. Mine would be city, so it wouldn't even be
any gas at all.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, hardly any. Like, it hardly registers on my payment. Very little gas. I use more gas in the wintertime, in the summertime specifically. Like, I could get out a gas bill and I could show you I probably pay it registers almost close to zero. There's very little gas being used. In the wintertime, I'm using heat. And
yeah.
Use a hot water tank heat system. So
nice.
That runs some. I mean,
You got tankless?
Yeah, what's really nice is check this out. So the township requires a permit for boiler installation, but not hot water installation. So our radiant heaters are ran off of hot water heaters, not boilers.
What do you mean radiant heater? Is that a waterless or a tankless?
No, it's tank, but it's radiant heat floor heating.
Oh, okay.
So the house, I mean, you know, the building doesn't get more than 60 degrees, but it's not going to freeze.
I want to upgrade my house and then eventually grow to tankless.
And we go in there, we'll kick on an electric heater and it's fine. But you know, it's
Yeah.
perfect for. I mean, that's what heats the building is a hot water heater. and if we
Wait,
wanted,
what?
yeah, a hot water heater heats the building. It's
What do you mean?
you know what radiant heating is? It's when you subheat your flooring.
With
You
water,
got
not
you got
water.
heated floors?
Heated floors, right?
Oh shit, yeah.
You
Well,
run,
that's sick.
not in the grow rooms. Not
Oh.
this is in our office space. We have radiant heating flooring. So you have piping.
It's like in the cement.
It's in the cement, right? It's in this.
That's dope, dude. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. You gotta do that when you're building that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I
That's cool.
think you could do an add-on. I mean, you'd have to raise your floor 6 inches.
Like, yeah, I see what you mean. Shit, maybe 1 year. Fucking heated floors, that's fancy. I like that.
Use a hot water heater, and then there's pumps.
Yeah.
It's water from the hot water heater through your house, essentially.
Yep.
Dude, my neighbor had a bunch of PVC piping on his roof, like a radiator. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I bet that went into his hot water tank.
Yeah.
It's incredibly smart. I almost want to do the same thing. Run a radiator style thing up on our roof.
What you want is just look in the pool industry, get a solar pool heater. It's just a big. That's what it is. It's black. It's made black on purpose to absorb heat.
All black, right?
Yep. And it's just rubber tubing, but one big flat thing that has a bunch of rubber tubes laid side by side.
That's exactly what it was. That's probably what it was. Yeah. Yeah, that would cut costs even more. And honestly, we're probably in the winter like we've been having, where if it's black outside, it's 80 degrees. You know what I mean? When it's sunny, it's
Yeah.
you know, it could be 30 degrees outside, and if it's black and in the sun, it's cooking.
Oh yeah.
We've had a very intense sunshine.
Now, can you imagine if you got your water heater or that system running off of geothermal? So it's just like
That would be dope.
closed loop in the closed loops of energy. That'd be sweet.
I mean, every home should be heated with geothermal.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
yeah.
we dig basements like a motherfucker here in Michigan. I mean,
Exactly. Why not? Yeah, it's like you bring out the drill every time you build a house.
it should be. I mean, I hate regulations, and I don't want to say it should be a requirement, but
Yeah.
you're gonna preach, whatever.
Well, if you're gonna have them, you might as well have good ones, right?
Yeah, that's what
And
I
we
mean.
are in a
Hold
world
on.
of regulations, so it's
Let
like,
me invest in a fucking good drilling company before you make it a regulation. Then-
oh shit! Okay, Pelosi. You fucking Nvidia, whatever the hell. It's like, oh, I just invested in guns, and we're going to war.
or it gives you it gives you a heating and cooling credit. You get paid by
Yeah,
the electric company.
that'd be cool.
Thermal. How about that? Like they do with solar.
Yeah. I mean, that's an untapped resource that's never gonna run out as far as we're concerned. Like,
D-Man says do a radiant under your driveway to melt the snow. There you go.
No, you
I've
get
seen
solar
that. I've
road.
seen that.
That's
solar
for
road
for you, babe.
Uh,
You don't have to. You don't like shoveling, so you don't
I
have.
no, I do kind of like shoveling. I just don't like shoveling the amount I have to. Like if my driver were maybe half as
First half
big,
hour.
I'd be like, all right,
I like shoveling until my arms get sore.
exactly, yeah.
This fucking sucks.
It's usually my back that gets sore.
I like
Or
shoveling.
like really when it's the shitty snow that's just ice and you can't even get a good scrape.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
If I get
You give me
four-wheel
one of the
drive
good.
or all-wheel drive, I drive over that shit.
Yeah, but see, I like to make sure I get the edges of the driveway so the idiot drivers from FedEx, UPS, USPS, and Amazon don't run into my yard in the middle of winter and possibly get stuck.
Yeah, they make their own driveway.
Dude, they're so bad. They're so bad. They just like, I hear them blasting music. I'm just like, pay attention, up. Fucking idiot. But let me give you a good review on the delivery. Not a guy couldn't drive.
I was
Yeah.
gonna talk about my UPS shipment, but I think I already went off about this one a few weeks ago. The box of jars shook my house when it landed on my front porch, and I
don't think you told us about this.
could hear the shattering of jars from where I'm sitting right now on my front
What?
door.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Feel the house go. Boom.
Yeah.
So
Like,
mad.
oh my god! I ran out there real quick, and he's like running to his truck, slams the fucking door. He fucking squealed out the tires on his. I don't know how he
I
did
bet.
it. He took off.
I feel like I ordered 120 pounds of rock for the fish tank, and I wasn't there, but for one out of the 3 boxes, because divided into 40 pounds each, and I feel like the guy that had to bring the 2 other boxes probably just threw them bitches on my porch and probably, yeah, made my house shake. Because, like, I get it, but you signed up for a job where it says, can you lift 50 or more?
Thank you, Big. Thank you. And that's exactly it, because you know what? If it is more than that weight, they send freight shipping, or they make
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's not like it's an unreasonable amount, because if it goes
Yeah.
over that amount, they do a different service. You know what I mean? That's how it works. So yeah, you're right. You signed up for the job that said, "Can you lift this?" That's Earth's gym for you. You know?
Yeah, well, yeah. So
Those trucks are
But-
so light, so I could see them just peeling off. You know,
Peel it off, man.
Well, especially if it's UPS, because I know what those boys get paid. And girls.
It's
And
like
it's a lot.
Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura, just kicking the box down the hall, smashing it in the elevator doors.
Like it's a soccer ball.
That's like the greatest opening scene to a movie. Kicking it like a soccer ball. Throwing it, kicking it like a hacky sack.
I don't know. I think the
Going now.
shit, what's the fucking name of that movie? That Super Troopers is pretty hard to beat. Best opening scene, man. That was pretty good.
Oh,
Especially on mushrooms. That
Yeah.
opening scene on mushrooms, because they come back 3 or 4
we
times.
used
start
to.
going, am I tripping? Like, it's rough.
We were like
used to hold
17,
back.
18 when I started smoking weed, and my buddy had that on DVD, and he had the original Xbox because it played DVDs, I think, or he had a DVD player. I don't know,
It
but
did,
he
the
had
original
the
Xbox
cool
did.
house. He had the house we could go high as a kite because both his parents worked, so we could go after school high as a kite, go down there. And he had a huge TV, had the Xbox, had whatever, and it was separate from like the rest of the house, you know. And I swear we probably watched Super Troopers 100 times high as a kite, just because that opening scene, we would be dying, pissing our pants, rolling, laughing on all of it. Just like we'd start saying it verbatim, but yeah, it's just like the schnoz birds taste like schnoz, and we'd be dead. Just the way the kid looked, because at that point we had, I believe, started experimenting with mushrooms. So it was like, oh my god, look at his eyes. Is that what we look like?
Yeah.
That shit used to get me. Yeah.
Anyways,
Yes, Snosberry Farm. Shout out to them. They got one of my favorite GMOs. As far as people that run GMO, they do it really well.
He yelps crazy. CTC says UPS searches every package with the Mission Impossible camera, and I believe that because every package I've gotten recently has had a chunk this big ripped out of the top corner, like they've been sticking a freaking Mission Impossible camera, or at least peeling it back to see what's in there.
Well,
Silage tarp got torn. That paid
yeah, I never shipped through UPS. Fuck
And they
that.
got a little pinhole in the top because somebody's fucking thumb peeled it, or they threw it up on my front porch. One of the fucking.
We had a problem with that in Florida. The local USPS workers were just known that if they were shisty, they would know. And if they thought a box was like, you know, some flour or something, they had a little poker stick, but it was kind of hollow. It was sharp but hollow, so they could jam it through the fucking box. Hopefully, go through your bag or whatever, get some in the tube of the hollow part of it, and then be able to smell it or see what it is. And then if it was weird or something, they jack it. And what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Go complain to USPS? I think not. You're just like, well, fuck. I guess I'll take a loss. But yeah, that shit. There's things people do.
Fucking racket.
What's up, Noob Grows? Cheers for Girly.
Yeah, what's up, Noob Grows?
There's for Girly in
Yeah,
chat.
for girlies in the garden.
Yeah, I gotta do that still, but I just figure I hop on here.
We got some 1020 trays in the mail and a whole
What's the
stack
1020 tray?
of it's a clone tray.
Oh.
So we got some with holes and without, and they all came stacked together, 10 and 10 of each. The whole 10 pack of the without were broken. Clearly somebody was, pulling them off the shelf and like they either fell or whatever happened, whatever. Maybe it wasn't off the shelf, threw in, but that stack specifically had a split all the way down the side of all 10 of them, right?
Talking about the tray? Are you talking about the individual cube trays, or are you talking about the one that holds that?
It holds it. It's a
Yeah, I bought a 5-pack once off the internet of the plastic trays, and it was like that. It was like 3 out of 5 were broken. I think they just don't know how to ship those sons of
Yeah,
bitches.
the whole bottom half was like totally cool. Here's basically what it is. All of the ones with holes were broken. All of the ones without holes, 2 different SKU numbers, right? So
Yeah.
I'm calling this one factory, not shipping. The box,
Okay.
fine. It wasn't really a shipping issue. So I hit the factory. They were cool about it. They totally sent me new ones. No big deal. But companies will reimburse you, easy peasy. Usually UPS. Usually companies have some form of insurance through UPS. So if there's a error, theft or something, they replace it, and that's all fine, helpful. What sucks is the timing. You know what I mean? We're like, you need something, you order something, you might need it for a specific purpose, and then the supply chain kicks you in the nuts. And you might still get your product, and you might not have to pay anything else. It might be fine, but you might lose out on whatever you needed it for. So there is a little bit of, damn, it does suck sometimes when, I don't know, people just don't have integrity for their work or whatever it is. I don't know. There's probably so many different things going on. But it's supplied. It's out of your control. You know what I mean? It is out of your control with the supply chain, which is really.
I can only imagine how it was during the cargo ship shit.
Yeah, for like 2 years.
You weren't getting anything. Yeah.
And it's still they're still having backups.
We're still having backups because of what's going on in the Middle East.
Yeah, there's so much. And in the future, how many issues will we have supply chain? You know what I mean? When does it get better? So that's why I preach the decentralization so much, because shipping stuff.
Bitcoin, I got you, bro.
Well,
love everybody track every damn fucking transaction.
Yeah, unless
the idea of Bitcoin.
Unless some EMF takes out our ability.
Who's tracking it?
What if an EMF?
U.S. government.
What if an EMF?
Everybody. It's open. It's open source.
Destroys all of your hard drives.
The U.S. government.
And then you have no more Bitcoin.
And everybody. They already track everything, but everybody can't track everything.
Yeah, but they don't track everything. They don't track my cash transactions.
How does?
They kind of know. They have an estimate.
They don't know. So kind of know is a whole different thing than no.
What happens in the case of
centralized
EMF?
Well, then you're fine. But then we're also fucked in so many ways that we're going back to barter system anyways. And I hope to dear God we don't go back to a system where we're trading fancy metals and jewels that actually have no practicality for things.
I think that's I think that's
a silver coin.
And I think that's an oversimplification, and people would actually be selling homemade goods.
That's what I want people to go to, is what I'm saying. I don't want us to go back to medieval times where we were like, you have how many golden coins in a chest?
I think that's propaganda. I don't think it ever was. I think that's how they want us to be. You
don't think we use coins and silver and stuff?
They use coins. I just don't think that any of it was the way that they portray it to have been, where like that's all it was. I'm sure that it was goods and services.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And most humans throughout history were farmers. That's just how food was never centralized. Food was always locally grown. You have to have thousands of farmers. Food,
I think, for a while was really homegrown.
Everybody's a farmer.
It's kind of like how the Amish do it.
Yeah, everybody's farmers. You have basic needs: shelter, food, shelter, those main things. Water, you can pretty much, it comes on its own, and then food and shelter, you need crafters to make both of those. Everything else is luxury. Once you get outside of that, you don't need anything. And the great thing about that is food is the one thing that we actually need. Like shelter, have you ever seen Naked and Afraid? You can live out in the fucking middle of the woods.
Yeah.
You could without any shelter. But I mean, you need
funny, make fun of that video.
I don't think that's an ideal situation, really.
Definitely not.
That's what I'm striving for.
Not ideal. I don't want my toes and my butt cold like that.
I still enjoy Pal World,
but I would
Me
still.
too.
I like my LEDs.
Hunked up against a tree or something.
Your fish and your tanks.
I like my fish. I like my heat
Oh,
in the
rubber.
winter.
I mean, I'm warm. I have the thermostat over here that I can.
Yeah. I don't want to go too far back. I don't want to go too far back to where we're not growing weed again. But if you go far back enough, we were.
Weed came before us, so.
Yeah, but then we just didn't do anything with it for a while.
I'm just saying it grew itself.
Yeah.
It didn't need us. It's just.
I'm
Before
afraid.
we mess with weed.
My fear is that if we did lose it all and we did try to grow and cultivate, our soil is so stripped. People would try to grow and they'd be like, I can't fucking grow in this grout. How do people grow? You know what I mean?
Oh, you just gave me a crazy idea. It would make fertile soil the new water and electricity.
Fertile soil.
Like rich people would be like, let me just buy some good soil then, and they'd get a field of soil trucked in from
like
God
Pete.
knows where that was robbed from somewhere that had nice soil, ruin an ecosystem.
They already do that though. That's exactly.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. And then soil, it's like you remember Waterworld?
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember how soil was like the thing? Oh,
Thing, dude.
it was the thing. You got soil, dude? Come on in, VIP.
That was a good flick.
Yeah.
It was. I always liked that flick.
Waterworld.
Interesting idea.
Book of Enoch. Waterworld and the Book of Enoch.
Was that a movie too?
Well, it's another post-apocalypse movie, but this one's
It's a real thing, though. There was a real Book of Enoch.
There's a real Book of Enoch, and it's the creation. It's another book in the creation story that was actually left out of the King James Bible, specifically by a king, maybe by King, one of the ones who put the Bible together during King James' time. I think specifically something like that.
The same guy that left out Lilith.
Paper. Gotta have the paper.
I don't know. That one I don't know.
Oh, I'll tell you about it tomorrow on the late session.
Oh, I know all about Lilith.
I know, yeah, you do. But...
Lilith?
No, Lilith.
Lilith.
The first woman in the Bible that they struck out.
Oh no, I don't know about Lilith.
Yeah, we can talk about it, yeah.
Lilith
It's the first time they decided to edit what's called canon of the world, and I think, in my opinion, at least of Christianity. But yeah, it's the same type of thing. A king or some entity changed it, the Bible.
Yeah, it's kind of
purposely left something out.
It's disturbing man, this is taking us off of growing.
Yeah.
It's disturbing to think that like they burned the Cleopatra's library. I try not to do too much discrediting to the Roman Empire for their conquering and like destruction, but that's one thing that I do kind of like totally like. I think that sucks because Egypt specifically was the land of education. It was like the land of I don't know. There's like a lot of great things. You know what I mean? It's like where people learned mechanics, where they learned all kinds of stuff. And most of the Greek philosophers,
engineering, would you say engineering?
Yeah, mechanical engineering, any of that kind of stuff. And you're talking about the pyramids.
The pyramids. They might have been able to figure out engineering.
What if the pyramids were there before the
We
Egyptians?
talk about this shit at work all the time.
It was a scholarly place, so like a lot of, I guess, wealthy people throughout Europe would travel to Egypt to get their education, or at least go there for
Yeah.
education. You
The
know,
Library of
And
Alexandria.
education,
It was
yeah.
like
It
college,
was like the beginning.
it was like
And they claim there's a hall of records underneath the Sphinx.
Well,
Or
and then
something.
right near Egypt, I believe if you go northeast or whatever, you got, Babylon, Mesopotamia area, I think.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
got those huge knowledge centers too at some point. I don't know if they're all
India
existing at the
and
same
China,
time,
go
but
all the way east to
Egypt
China.
reigned for 3,000 years, which is crazy. So I think it was all in there. But yeah,
China had a lot of good.
according to modern academia, Egypt reigned for 3,000 years.
well, yeah. I just remember the thing that said Cleopatra lived closer to you and me than she did the start of the Egyptian nation.
Yeah,
Because it was so long, which is
well,
like holy shit.
it was like 3,000 BC was 3,000 BC, 5,000 BC or something was the pyramid time, or 6,000, something like that. Sphinx is like 10,000, I think. I think it's like 10,000. No, Sphinx might be 6,000. And in Gaza, the Great Pyramid might be 3,000, 2,500, might be 2,500 BC. I could totally be wrong with all these. They,
They still smoked weed and they still liked it.
I'm sure there's some sort of a trade happening there with that. I'm sure it wasn't just papyrus, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they use hemp. There was more like rope and stuff because hemp's so.
Look at
When
all
you
the,
break it up with water, it's like strings out so easy. It's like easy to not easy, but easier to make it into a rope.
Yeah, I think. Let's see. I'll do some googling here. I bet we can find some hieroglyphs with cannabis on it.
Great googly moogly. Oh, the hieroglyph for cannabis? That would be cool to see. Maybe it'd be a cool tattoo or something.
Lilith was supposed to be Cain's wife, like Cain and Abel. Was that the children?
Oh, that's a whole different. No, that's a whole different.
No,
time period.
Lilith was supposed to be
Lilith was first. Oh,
Adam's wife.
Adam's wife?
That was first.
Yeah, but Lilith did
So
not
he-
want to be subservient, so
he
she said, "I'm
subservient.
not doing that." And God
Yep.
was like, "Well, I'm turning you into a demon." And then he did that, and that's why he took the rib out of Adam to make Eve, because then it's a part of Adam, therefore it has to be subservient. And that's a great line if you want a nation of subservient women. So it's just interesting that it was left out.
None of that was written by the disciples who wrote the Christian Bible, right? That was all.
Well, this is the oldest of telling story of Christians. Like it was supposed to be. This is like the raw
No, what
original
the
written
story of
Bible.
the story of Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
That's the Old Testament, right? The Old Testament is actually it exists long before Christ. The Old Testament is in the. I'm pretty sure the Old Testament is in both the Quran and the. It's well, maybe not the Old Testament, but the creation story, right? They're both, all three, incredibly similar, if not identical, creation stories. And they're all the same book. So what's the Hebrew Bible? The Hebrew Bible, the Torah. The Torah has the Old Testament's basically the story of Moses. And the story of Moses is, Moses brought the Hebrew people to freedom, basically, because they were slaves of Egypt. And Moses came, freed the slaves of Egypt, who were the Hebrew. And that is the creation story for the Hebrew. And that's the Judaism story. You know what I mean? And then Christianity comes in play after Christ is born. But Christians still use the Hebrews' creation story because Christians don't have a creation story. Their creation story, Christ was a Jew. So their Christians' creation story is the Hebrew creation story.
Yeah, but Christians typically believe in Adam and Eve.
So do well.
I know, but that's my point. It doesn't matter. Anyways,
yeah. Either way, it's the same.
Egypt.
Story. The same story.
Egypt still has propaganda on cannabis. I just tried to Google the connection to cannabis and the Egyptian culture. And the first thing that comes up is ScienceDirect.com. Cannabis was introduced to Egypt in the 12th century. Since that time, its abuse constituted an important social, economic, and health problem. Presently, herbal cannabis and its resin, in parentheses, hashish, are the most widely used illicit drugs in Egypt. So they're still a little back there.
Is that from like Egypt government, or is
No,
that
that's from ScienceDirect.com, and it's a .com, so you can't really, yeah. But like, I'm trying to find history, and it's mostly giving me more like, to me, like modern propaganda shit. But
yeah, Adam says that's the book of Exodus, right? Yeah, Exodus would be the God's creation, right?
ancient, yeah, I gotta use the word ancient Egyptians. Oh yeah, look at this. Here's a picture, and if anything, I know Reddit's legit.
Exodus was when Moses left Egypt. That's what Exodus was.
It was like a pot leaf, maybe.
That is pretty. Well, that could be.
It
More
could be
than
a lot of things, but like, that's why I'm gonna keep looking. Yep.
Kingfisher.
Oh, that's a depiction of a palm frond.
That's what I was thinking. Exodus, the Moses story.
Ancient Egyptians also used medicinal
Right,
properties.
and
of
Adam
cannabis.
says that Moses and also the book is that's what I was talking about. He's in the Quran, and they're all very much similar.
They all should have just been smoking weed.
And it was the Romans who crucified Christ. It wasn't the Jews. You know, there's a lot of
Hash time, 7 minutes.
it's very strange that people take it all so like they believe each religion is blasphemy when they're all just cousins of each other, really.
Yeah. Well, that's how we get stuck in the past with like years and years of prohibition.
Well, the thing that bothers me about some religions is if any religion is encouraging violence or murder and things like that on another person just because of a belief, then you know you're probably in the wrong religion. That's not a sustainable thing.
I think that happens in everything, though. I think there's even people in cannabis. Like, cannabis should be the most like peaceful thing, but there's still people that are like violent and involved in it. You know what I mean? And like, it's just
but that's a perverted, you know, most religions are peaceful, so it's like a perverted take on it.
That's what I mean.
One thing and pervert it for.
That's what I mean. It's like, it's more or less like a group of extreme. The world's so big, you know, and we're talking like there's only so many belief systems that everybody starts to like become extreme on their beliefs, and then they become, what is it, radicalized. And it's not the religion that's radicalized. It's the individuals that kind of herd up and become radicalized through their cultish behavior. You know, they overly subscribe to dogma, and they take everything as truth. Everything, you know, when it's usually just advice, you know, not necessarily truth, or what is it, would be metaphors, you know, scripture, you know. And people they take things as dogma. Like, I still believe that like during those olden times people still like had rituals and did things like cannabis, hemp, hash ceremonies, mushroom ceremonies, like pagan. Like I
think before organized religion, yeah.
No, I mean, I believe like even early Christianity was more like, hey, I think that.
Oh,
like,
I don't think so.
I think that, like, witches and like people would call like witches blasphemy, like talking anything about witches blasphemy. But I think there's more in common between like early Christianity and witches than most would even think.
I think the witches, which were oftentimes just people who were more in tune with nature and rituals involving nature that weren't
that was
Well, people
paganism.
around him were.
That was a lot of paganism. Is that also?
And they were called witches. That's what I'm saying. The Christians called them witches.
That was early
But
Christianity.
I'm saying if anybody was using cannabis, I think it was those people out in the woods doing shit.
They have
Not the people building churches.
they give you a potion of wine and a magic cookie. You know, I shouldn't be so that's blasphemy. I shouldn't say it like that. But you know, that's what most people's take would be, the bread and the wine offering. I shouldn't say magic cookie. I regret that. But basically it's, you know, in a sense it is a form of magic. You know, it's you're
Gathering.
receiving an offering, and in turn, you know, there's like a shared agreement there. You know, you give a will and they give away.
Yep. I smoke a bowl, I get high.
Yeah, the incense, the burning of herbs,
Yeah.
which is usually some sort of frankincense.
And most of the rituals we find out was stolen from pagans anyways, like what was it, Christmas? Let's see, Halloween,
Easter's a pagan.
Yep, it's all just
Halloween is not exactly a Christian holiday, dude.
Oh yeah, that's true.
President's Day, Labor Day.
Stolen.
Christians work, man.
Yep. But that's what I think. I don't think they were the ones using cannabis, if anybody.
I think in the beginning it was a lot more of a discipline and a lot less of a law. I think that like when Rome did the thing, when they burned the thing, and they did the unholy takeover to become holy and create the Vatican and all that. I think that was the turning point. I think that
Let me
was.
ask you this. Who do you think back in the day smoked weed or involved cannabis more? A druid, you know what a druid is, right? Or like a pastor, or like a what do you want, church leader?
Probably a druid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like more the pagan lining, like the feral, barbaric people.
Well, they knew the herbs. They knew the herbs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They already knew the earth. They already used the earth. That's why I think it kind of turned for cannabis, at least. I'm getting my thing ready for hash time, by the way.
Well, some believe that the bush that Moses that was
Oh,
burning.
I have heard that. Yeah, was
may have been
possibly cannabis,
or even
that's what made him high.
Well, in the book,
then,
I think it's the acacia, which the acacia holds DMT. So
that would make sense, because then you get really fucked up.
Experience, or that the entire thing is just a metaphor for a DMT experience that could have been in a liquid form, anything like that. Ergotamine.
I guess they could have got DMT back then in a liquid form.
Well, they have found traces.
It was a burning bush, though. They didn't say it was like a liquid form.
They said it was a burning bush. They said it was a burning bush, but if you consider a metaphor, I'm not saying it's a liquid form, but I'm thinking of ways of consuming DMT that are other than burning.
They pulled out their DMT cart.
One of them's ayahuasca, right? Ayahuasca would be a form, and maybe he had a tea.
Well, I'm thinking desert area. Maybe they had some sort of
burning bush,
peyote related.
Drinking the tea. I don't know. I'm just spitballing some ideas, but maybe it was cannabis, and So I think that there's a lot of cannabis and drug history buried within old ancient religion, because modern. I think there's a huge difference between ancient religion and modern religion. I think that there's a lot more merit to ancient religion than there is modern religion.
Yeah.
I do think modern religion is a product of the Roman Empire, and the divide between the Middle East is a product of the division in the modern world war system. I mean, that's my take on it. But I mean, everybody has their own take on it. And I'm happy to just have my own faith in just the universe, and I'm happy to be there. You know, because I have my belief. Becca and I had a great talk on it this morning. We were just kind of had a glass of coffee on the way to the Fledge, and we were spitballing some stuff, and we were talking about synchronicities, really getting heavy into quantum. Like, how come you're having a dream and you wake up and experiencing the scenario? I was dreaming that scenario. We have a front porch, a bachelor pad in my early 20s. We got a front porch. We got a couch on the front porch. I'm garbage picking. I find this really cool fucking plant holder, which is going to substitute as a great ashtray. So I put this awesome huge ashtray on my fucking front porch. I fill the fucker with sand. I got this really cool ashtray. It's there for about a week. There were some I don't know, scrappers in the neighborhood just stealing shit off people's whatever. You know, bikes go up missing, ladder goes missing, whatever. None of this had even had, we hadn't even had anything go missing yet. But one of the first things that ended up going, I'm having a dream one night, and in this dream, it's a whirlwind, and things are flying all over the place. And the ashtray of all things is flying off of my porch, and I'm reaching and I can't get it. Stretch Armstrong style, go gadget arm. You know what I mean? I just can't get this ashtray. It's flying away from me. I go to work. I wake up, not think anything of my dream, and it kind of comes to me and goes or whatever. I get home from work later that day. The ashtray is fucking gone. Sand spilled all over my fucking deck, all out the deck. You know what I mean? All right. That was weird. Okay. I'm not really thinking much of it. Come to find out, one of the thieves that was stealing all the shit was unfortunately a friend of mine who was kind of hard up on opioids at the time. And he was stealing shit, change from me and my roommates, metal so he could scrap it, whatever it might have been. Hadn't talked to him in months. I'm having a dream one night, and I'm fucking telling him off in my dream. You piece of shit, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Being kind of mean to him, I guess. Anyway, I wake up in a daze, and I'm like, oh, fuck, my heart's racing and shit like that, you know? I'm sweaty. All of a sudden, my phone starts ringing. I haven't heard from this dude in months. It's him. He's calling me. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that's kind of fucking weird. Anyway, these synchronicities, these happen all the time. So I'm telling Becca about this stuff. I'm like, what about all these like weird chances, coincidences, and all these things that happen in life? And then she goes, well, I had a dream about a guy in a hot dog suit. You know what I mean? Like, what is the hot dog guy? You know what I mean? All right, okay. End of fucking story. We laugh about the whole thing, whatever. All day goes by. We get home. We're watching Modern Family. Luke, one of the kids on the show, he's getting a hot dog eating contest. Just, we've been watching Modern Family fucking months, dude. It's just been on the fucking TV as a fucking background noise. You know what I mean? We're in like the 10th season. Just so coincidentally, Phil, the dad's dressed up in a fucking hot dog suit. A guy in a hot dog suit. There's your clue. A guy in a hot dog suit. What part of chance, you know? And so Becca was like, okay, that was a little weird, you know. And I'm like, that's your sign right there. You're talking about a guy in a hot dog suit today. Yeah, when was the last time you said a guy in a hot dog suit? All of a sudden there's a guy in a hot dog suit. Sure, it's maybe coincidence. Let's call it coincidence for what it is, but I think it's a little bit more than that. Some of you out there might think it's a little bit more than that. Some of it might just think that it's mentalism, which very well could be. And I don't ever think of the divinity as like a patriarch of like a bearded gray guy, smite thee, enhance thee, you know, whatever. I definitely don't think of that. I think that there is more of just a interconnective force that just, I don't know if it's a governing force or what it is, but it's just laws of nature. You know what I mean? And that's why I question a lot of things, especially propaganda and sometimes even science, because I know that there's a lot more variables that are being used in science sometimes, you know. I don't want to keep talking because I really want to get into what Future Cannabis Project had on earlier about DLI and about
what's that?
Well, definitely watch it because there's way more information on that I'm going to give.
Yeah.
They had a guy that talked about a experiment that a university had put on with DLI and using a couple different genetics, and it was based on, will daily light interval affect quality? Okay, well, the experiment sounds subjective when you're basing something on quality, but nonetheless, and you can have a controlled environment. And so my question, what were all of the controls? And my question also exists, like, are all of the parameters exactly the same in these controls? And then my other question is, when we're dealing with things like DLI and different times of growing throughout the year, like they did these experiments in whatever month it was. What happened? Did they do the experiments also in a different month?
What are they doing with DLI? They're just measuring the amount of light they were getting outside.
Yeah, I'll talk about that. Let me talk about that first. So they're just measuring the amount of light that a plant would get based on. They would give it the same amount of light. I think it was something like 1,000 ppfd or so 600 ppfd. It was a low number, 600 ppfd. Okay. And what they would do was they would adjust the amount of hours of daylight that they would give the plant. So in one scenario, they gave a plant 10, 14. I think that's math.
So they give it more hours, but at a lower ppf.
They all had the same ppf. The control was ppfd.
Yeah,
and the fluctuations would be the hours.
Yeah.
But the overall hypothesis was based around quality. Right?
What was the finding? What was he trying to say?
Well, a couple things. The more ppfd given, the longer you run your time frame, you can have the potential to increase yield. The shorter you have your ppf, the shorter you have your time frame and less ppfd, the faster you're going to senesce, the faster you're going to basically simulate fall, and your plants, you're going to finish faster, but you're going to yield less.
Yes.
And I don't think I watched
11-13 cycle.
Yeah, they were actually doing like a 10 and 14. They were doing a pretty extreme one, 10 hours on. Which, if you want a fast finish and you want to not have a higher electricity bill, I mean, you're talking 10, 14% or something like that less energy used. But your yield is going to get cut down significantly.
Yeah, that's like cutting off the fucking feed. You're cutting off the light.
Right, you're cutting off the light, and you're probably
photosynthesize.
And you're probably wanting to do that early in the cycle, like week 5, week 4, week 5, for it to start to senesce by week 6, week 7. You know what I mean? If it's a 9-10 finisher. So I don't know. Really, the findings are, again, I think that those were basically the findings. You know what I mean? Like that was the base. I didn't really stay too long into it to catch what the overall findings were about the quality.
Yeah, I've been interested about that too.
I would be too, but that's right. That kind of lost me, because when somebody starts talking about different things in quality, it's like my taste, all four of us have a different.
It was probably just a test with cannabinoids and terpenes, and just seeing
it could have very well just been analytical, something that they can quantify, and that's kind of where. If you're quantifying things, science can only go as far as what we're able to test. And we're still discovering things all the time.
Yeah, man, I've always said you can call it what you want. You can have whatever test result you want. Let me smoke it and I'll tell you what I think.
Exactly. Because right now we can only quantify, however many cannabinoids. I don't know what the number is, maybe 100 cannabinoids. I think that there's 300. They keep finding more. 300.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Whatever there is. And then in a single plant, you can have upwards of 100. But on a COA, you're only going to see
10.
Yeah,
maybe
2 dozen tops if you get a really, really good COA and there's terpenes and shit on there. Yeah. So, I mean, how far can science really go? Only as far as we're able to actually record it.
The problem is that's still expensive too. So to get the home growers are the ones that are growing, I think, a lot of the different strains. So to get that widespread of data, that would be great if they could make it at an affordable scale. I hope someday in the future it becomes that.
It's great information because that's manipulating. That, in my opinion, that's your crop steering right there. That's like, how are you able to steer for your specific needs?
Pheno selection. You could just take all your pheno flowers in there and get terpene reports, and you'd be like, all right, I want the one with.
Well, if you're growing for yourself, yeah, but if you're growing for selection for somebody else and they got different light styles, they might get a totally different profile, because what's happening is you are getting different phenotypic variation with these different lighting intervals. That is one. I don't know if terpene profile, how different that changes. I don't know what the ratios, if the ratios change or if just the percentages change, but you're going to get a different phenotypical expression in whether that means height.
There's a weird sweet spot there, because in terpenes is because with increased light, you would have more photosynthesis and the plant could make more terpenes, but also with increased light comes increased heat, which could burn off more terpenes. So yeah, there's a diminishing return somewhere there, as you know, I'm sure.
Right.
But yeah, that's weird to think about.
And then there's also the point for cost. But I mean, if you're willing to pay the highest bid on the best product possible, then I guess that doesn't even matter. I like the idea of the 10 on as an early finisher. And for Growly and I wish he was here. We were kind of talking about it, because we were kind of talking about like starting out at a normal lighting schedule and then fading back into that early finishing schedule at a time that you might feel confident that you've achieved both, gotten a decent yield, gotten your flavors where they need to be, and your plant's ready to push it back lower down, simulate October, November, knock it back down to 10 hours a day. I in 12 hours a day already is pushing pretty low numbers anyways. I think like August, when the plants start to flower, it's like 14 hours a day. 12 is a good average, because here's the other difference, and this is the big one, is because all genetics are different. Genotype plays a huge role in this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Depending on genotype, you're gonna have a different.
Yeah, some plants might like fucking 13 hours of light in flower.
And so
the haze for days that I've got, 120 days, is what Mr. Toad told me. 120 days.
Have you tried playing with DLI with that specifically?
No, I haven't even popped it yet.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's something I'll definitely fuck around with for sure.
I'd be interested on that. If you could speed up 120 dayer, as I mean,
bro, I got in my GML lights, I got the far red, so I can use that to trigger. I've already seen just grown with the far red, not on all cultivars, but in some cultivars, knock off close to a week. It's crazy. But I'm eyeballing it. So when I say, to me, I'm getting good quality and fucking good yield, but I didn't write down the numbers. I don't have all the numbers for everybody, but yeah, I think that far red was the first thing that I've put or done in my garden where I noticed. At first, I noticed it was like a day or two early, but I can't. What strain was it that was like a whole week early? It might have been Cobra Milk. But yeah, it was like a whole week earlier than it should have been. It was like an 8-weeker when it was supposed to be a 9-weeker. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I didn't even do the far red at the end. We were supposed to flash it at the end for like up to 15 minutes, and it puts them to sleep so that it speeds it up. I didn't even do that. I just ran during the light cycle the whole time. The far red on.
Let's think about putting a 120. CTC says 150 day. Changing the DLI on that to speeding up its senescence, right? So let's grow a big plant, let's get it to the size, and then let's try to keep it at the same. Oh, I guess you couldn't do that in the same room as your other plants, but you could probably try to at least speed up the process and get it in cycle with the rest of your crops throughout the year. If you're shooting for a 63-day crop rotation to pump, whatever it is, 6 or 7 a year, at least you could get a sativa and get some head stash in there. Trying to
I grow. It'll work for me because the way I grow, I just I have multiple plants in my veg, and then I just grow the bigger ones or whatever. I'll pot them up and I'll throw them into flower when I harvest one. It's just a perpetual one goes out, one goes in kind of a thing. So they'll just be in that spot for longer.
Yeah, exactly. I like the idea of like, you need this method. You are out of weed. You're fucking out of weed, and you just need enough to get through the next month. You don't need a pound of weed you can grow another plant of weed by the time you need the rest of that, whatever, you just need an ounce to get through until your next plant. You can crop steer back and speed that plant up. I don't know the time frame is the thing. I don't know if it's a week, 2. I don't know if it's just, is this just a day or two? Even still, a day or two could be the difference of somebody needing that fucking oil. You know what I mean? And I think that's great information coming out of, even if I do think that some science is, subjective based, when they're talking about things like quality and stuff like that specifically. But
yeah, that's where I always like to I don't know if anything grows still in chat. Yeah, she's still in chat. I like to say to her all the time, it's like she'll say, well, what about this? I'm like, let's just try it. Citizen science, it's up to us to just throw it in there and try it, because
I like that.
You can sit there and look that up and get 20 different opinions, or you can just fucking try something and see what happens.
Because there's also, I always think of all these random ass variables, man. Like when I'm hearing science talked about, especially when they're talking about cannabis and or anything that has to do with plants, and they're talking about how a plant grows or yields, and a yield is better. And one of those things is shit, what the fuck? I started thinking about a mineral density specifically in plants, where if you filled up a glass of water and then you put that, and that represented an organic fruit with that much water in it, and then you put it into a bigger container, you got a bigger yield, but it's the same amount of water. The water represents the mineral density.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or nutritional value or whatever it is. Similarly, I believe that's happened in cannabis as well. You can have a bigger yield, but ultimately you're getting just more plant material. But I ultimately lost my train of thought because I thought that and not what the fuck I was talking about. So anyway,
well, we can at least say hi to Tara. I see Tara jumped in there.
Hey guys, sorry to be late. Time to get high.
Yeah, please do.
What are you smoking on, Tara? What's she smoking on?
The schedule will change.
Motherfucking Jones.
There you go.
Your schedule changed, Tara. We had a Sunday event again for you.
You did.
Today was the event.
I know, and I had to miss it again, and I'm so upset. These damn people making me work.
She had it off, and then she had.
Yeah, lots of people have been sick at work, so unfortunately, being a manager, you gotta step up and work when somebody else can't. So I did it. No biggie.
We smoked one for you.
But I definitely missed out because I really, really wanted to grab some flour while we were there. So
Or try some of that Spartan puke we've been hearing about too.
Yeah, we gotta get you some of that.
Well, base got some. We got some for you.
We just got a brand new jar of Chem cookies too to share. So shout out Dank Man Dan and that 420 wife did a phenomenal job on this jar.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
Oh, it's like Troy, honestly, he keeps saying, did Dan throw some GG4 in there? I was like, no, he didn't throw no GG4 in there.
It's what it feels like or smells like sometimes.
Oh, it's really good. But I keep reminding him, we had the meathead in that last batch, and then we also had some New England Hazy Kush that was thrown in just, because we didn't have enough. So it wasn't truly chem cookies that time, and this truly is.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and I'm gonna try to get that. I'm gonna try to get this pheno. I've got 2 phenos of it. I'm gonna try to wiggle this one out because Dan was telling me some of the things that he saw when he was washing it, and I think it'd be really nice all by itself.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
What pheno was that?
The chem cookies.
Well, do you have a number though, or you just couldn't number it?
It was 1 and 2. It was
okay,
it was my 1 and 2. So nothing, but it's very distinctly different the way that it grows. It prays the whole time. I mean, every day. It's just
that's cool.
Never droops. It's constantly up. It's beautiful, really dark leaves. And Dan was saying that when he was washing it, it was almost like wine. Parts of it was almost like wine. So I would like to see that as a whole itself. And
in a color or a smell.
I believe in color, right?
Color.
Color, yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it's really nice. It smokes really nice. We were getting real low there. We had like we probably had about maybe like 2 grams left, and I was like, oh, he couldn't have got this done quick enough. I was like, I'm ready.
Smoking a baller jar a month.
Yeah.
Oh no. It lasted us. We got it. The last one was around the week of Thanksgiving when we picked up from him the last time. So a couple months.
It's been that long. Oh my god.
Baked, you got that jar from
I gifted people some and sold some.
Yeah.
And we smoke. I mean, we smoke a lot of it. So
I'm just curious to see after we mixed it if it separated at all.
Not really, because I put it in the fridge.
Oh, cool.
All the terps got like real thick. I
So we
remember I
noticed
pulled
that-
it out to get a little bit for myself.
yeah, when we first brought ours home, I got real worried because Troy took some out of it and it was like real crumbly, and I was just like, oh,
We
fuck,
hadn't
what'd we do?
whipped it yet or nothing. We haven't.
And we hadn't whipped it yet, and so I gave it a really good whip the other day, and now it's sweet.
Whip
It's
it.
just fucking so nice.
Whip
Whip
it.
it good.
Twist it.
Nice. It's so nice to have your own stuff. You know, I'm very fortunate that we've been
Shout
blessed.
out.
It is super cool.
Shout out to Fagroli. This is
Yeah, that was
I'll
really
give a
good,
size
man.
shot.
Nice.
This is the BHO. I didn't get. He gave it to me today, so I didn't get to give you guys any. But
There you
it's real good. I love the consistency.
Me too. It's like sugar.
I mixed up when I got home, Spartan. Like I
See,
really,
that's
really
Oh, you mixed it
stirred
really
it.
good.
We got to
And then
have
this is
Oh,
the
Look at
dabs
that.
of it.
Nice. Look at all of that.
Ooh.
Damn.
But that's the main jar. But
Nice.
usually just stays in the fridge.
That's gonna be a pain in the dick to get out of the bottom of that jar.
that
Yeah,
one.
I'm not a fan of like.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
I'm not
Don't tell
trying
me
to
how
have.
many plants it was, but is it just one plant?
No, that was
No,
the one room.
Oh,
that was. We figured out it was 16
like-
plants.
Yeah, I thought you guys had said it was like 16 or
was
17.
it like
16.
all the same pheno? Same phenotype?
No,
No, we
nope.
did a pheno hunt, so that
Oh, okay.
the rosin was a mix of the whole pheno hunt,
Oh,
and
cool.
then
That's how we.
BHO was our chosen. BHO was our chosen phenos.
Okay.
Yep.
Mixed together, the two chosen mixed together.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's how we get rid of the stuff we don't. We're not excited about. But I'll always be excited about a big old jar of some sort of concentrate.
Yeah, totally.
And
Oh,
then we gave our good shit to Fagroli, our keepers, and I think that was a good idea because now we're like, yeah, let's run those.
And
One of
BHO,
those has a really good flavor. So I think that 19 is where it's at.
I think it's at 14.
I see. That's what I'm saying. We got now run it. Now we got to run them.
Side by side. I'm excited to have all these new sprouts coming up, man.
Yeah.
I've definitely learned a lot by doing not all the seeds at the same time and doing like half of them, maybe like a third of them 1 week, and then waiting a week and then doing the other ones. And I maybe 2 weeks. The first batch I let grow too big in those soil blocks. They're in one of those trays, so there's a bottom, plastic bottom. The soil blocks are only 2 inches big. Those tap roots hit the bottom probably that first day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I leave them, and I left them there for I don't know a week. Almost 10 days last time, and they were starting to get a little burnt tips. They only had their first sets of leaves. That one, not the cotyledon plus the one leaf, and that one leaf was getting a little burnt, almost on a few of them, a few different of the varieties. Almost looked speckled. Kind of like, I'm like, oh, this is weird. Very good. This is a little weird. And then the second part was coming. So I uppotted, redid it,
Right.
and I gave them a little bit less compost, a little bit less kelp meal and nitrogens and things, and watered in, and then less water. Also, I watered it once, and I really kind of just left them alone for a few days. They began to grow out of it. There's a little bit of aggregation. They almost it's weird because they look like thrippy, but it's not thrips. Like there's no bug damage. It's like a burning. It just speckled. It's very strange because they completely grew out of it already. And then
after the transplant, that pretty much fixed it.
It pretty much fixed it. Yeah.
Right.
Most all of them have like grown out of this, but almost all of them were funky. And so the germination rate on the last round, we clocked it. It was like 70%, or out of 24 seeds, only 7. And these are different packs, you know. We had like great success on most of the archive, and then like a couple of the older stuff didn't have the best success on. One of them was actually rainbow belts that we only had like 2 or 3 out of the 4 come up or something like that. But on this next round that we just did, out of 40 seedlings, we only had 3 that did not sprout. One of them was a 5-year-old blueberry. So 4 out of the 5 blueberries came up. I think all 5 of the old Tropicana cookies that came up. Yeah. One of the rainbow belts, of course, did not come up. So the rainbow belts is a little finicky. But then the other one that did not come up was one of the vanilla gorillas, which was one of the exotics. So kind of all over the place. It doesn't. I haven't seen any negatives with any particular breeder. All the Durban Margies came up. That was one I had issues with when I first tried to run that one. I didn't have a good success rate with popping those, but I had it, and those ones are 5 years old. So I'm happy to, and I didn't do any scarification or anything on the seeds. I just kind of put them in the soil blocks and let them go. But I am noticing that there is a method to up potting that is necessary right away. Similarly, I think most people go from a paper towel right into a solo cup and not really have to worry about them bottoming out or any of that right away. But I think that bottoming out, and some of it is like a root pruning too, because they hit air. They hit to the side of that root block and they hit air. So I think root pruning at such a small age just might not be. I think they need the root development at that small age. They don't want to root prune. Other plants are probably good. Cannabis is probably just too big of an annual. I don't know. I really don't know as much about it. I mean, maybe it's fine. Maybe it all had to do with the water and moisture content. And too much compost. Maybe it was too much compost.
Yeah.
So many variables, man.
Yeah, there's a million variables.
It really is. That's why, like, you know, when I think like how good of growers are these dudes at the university doing this science when they're testing DLI, like how.
Well, that's what's fun is to look into the papers and you get to see that in their methods and you get to look at it.
Are they using Fox Farm? Are they using like a powdered nutrient?
They usually will say all those things. So
right, yeah,
it's
exactly.
good to be able to look into them. On the Cheap Home Grow, we do that a lot. We kind of dig into them.
Do you ever think about the measurements that we don't take in our grow rooms? We're not measuring oxygen levels. We're not measuring ethylene levels. We're not measuring barometric pressure. We're not measuring.
Actually, the pulse does take barometric pressure.
It takes barometric pressure.
Yeah, I've got that.
Well, I guess you need dew point. You need dew point somewhere. Some of the
dew point as well.
Dew point. But what about altitude? Pressure. What is pressure based on altitude?
Some of these they're calculating with software, so they're not.
I don't think that's barometric pressure. I think there's another type of there's a kilobar or something pressure. Maybe that is barometric pressure. I don't know. I'm speaking in high.
Yeah, but like for me, like my home grow is my hobby grow. I'm not doing it to break records. I'm just doing it as a hobby, you know. Yeah. But when I'm helping baked at the Trichome Forge, that's a whole different fucking attitude, a whole different mindset, and it's completely different. A different way of growing as far as synthetic over organic, and it's a different, like, I don't know, mindset. I'm going in there and I'm doing, like, for example, way more leaf stripping than I would in my organic grow because it's just the way that the plants feed and all that. Whereas, you know, and the density, you know, I've got 4 plants in my room at home, whereas going there and there's, you know, 24 plants or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's very super situational to every single person, every single, like you said a couple of times already, all the different variables, man, you know, each cultivar, each environment, so many millions of different tiny little things.
Yeah, I mean, with my sealed room, I mean, there's bound to be like higher levels of ethylene in my grow than in someone else's. That could potentially cause my plants to senesce faster.
Yeah. But people try to trick it, like taking a fucking banana peel and letting it start to rot, and that produces ethylene gas to try to do the same thing.
Interesting.
But yeah, finishing faster is not always a great result. Like you said, it's very subjective, so it'd be interesting to see if people start really pushing that. If the end result is still quality enough to merit.
Well, there's this point where I feel like the terpenes don't really kick in until a certain age of the plant. You know what I mean?
I was about to say that myself. I was about to say, but you know, if you're growing from clone, your plant's already been aged. So if you grow it a couple of times and get it, now it's old. But the first couple of times, sometimes I don't like to cut a plant on the very first time I grow it because I want it to be 100% mature and see what it does.
Yeah.
And see how it expresses.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you grow it a second time. That's fun though, looking in chat. A lot of people talking about the sativas. That's what I'm going to grow after this blue. What did I just pop?
Blue.
I'm high from that dab, real high.
The Newberry.
The Newberry, yes. After those Newberry, and the next thing I'm going to pop is that Haze for Days. I'm excited to get into that.
Haze for Days?
Haze.
Haze for Days.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be
Mr.
cool.
Toes, I think it was slammed 2 old hazes together.
I almost popped a Trop Haze. I was really torn on that one. Tropicana and something haze. Super lemon, super silver haze. I think it's super silver haze.
Ooh.
I know. Talk about torn on that one, right? A Trop Haze, like a more sativa cookies. That would be
Yeah.
Trop Cookies is already a nice little.
What I like about chopped cookies is like one of those loud ones. It's a flavor that some people hate, some people love, but it's a loud one. It's a very strong flavor.
Dude, some people just absolutely despise citrus. It's like they're offended that you even offered it to them as aromatherapy.
So I like citrus. It's just I get bitter from, it's more of a bitterness.
Yeah, lemon dozy for me is like
bitter.
Are you talking about Trop Cookies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more bitterish than like citrus. I love citrus, but it's just bitter to me.
It's what I get off of the lemon dozy is that where it's almost like got that like puke smell, almost that putrid, where it's like you get a sharp citrus lemon, and then at the top end there's like, but there's like this bit of funk. It's almost like that like sour vomit, and I hate to use that as a fragrance phrase, but it is. It's weird.
Yuck, man.
Yeah, but it's delicious, and I don't know. To be honest, it's usually the one that we come home with the most of, but it's also some people's absolute favorite. I don't know. Becca really likes it. She really likes the high. I don't mind the high. It's all right. It's probably gonna be the first to go though when we have all these new genetics come through. Assuming we can find a feeder to keep her. We probably will have Lemon Dozido clones available this spring though.
Oh, nice.
Probably a Gems and Genetics.
So me and Baked were talking about we might probably have some clones for Gems and Genetics.
Yeah, we're gonna try to mom some stuff out. I think I'm gonna do 5 gals. I do 10 gals at work, but it's not like we need anywhere near that.
Now we've got so many plants right now that we need to get rid of. Oh,
bro, you could probably get a tray of clones off of a 1 gal if you let it go for long enough.
Yeah, but I don't want to deal with the root balance. So I'd rather do 3 or 5 gal. I was thinking
3 gallons.
for our
3
size.
probably be good enough. 3 probably be good.
I've been really happy that we upped this tent right here to 5 gals. I've really been happy with the way they
did 2 gals for the Papa Burger, and I'm really not happy I did 2 gals.
We did like 2s and 3s the last round, and I was not happy with that. But these
sweet spot's
right
3.
Now, I'm good. I'm good with these 5s.
The problem with 5 is holy shit when you need to run it off, which I run off my shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
then you're really putting water through. Just to get the field capacity of a 5 gal, you're putting in 3 to 4,000 milliliters, so a gallon probably. And then if it's drinking, then you gotta put in a little bit more so it actually runs off. So
Yeah.
you're like, fuck. That's
I've
why
definitely
like
like
3 gals is my sweet spot where I'm like, but 2 gal, the problem with 2 gal is they dry out so fast. I'm almost gonna get to 2 days before the end of this flower. Like I'm gonna have to wake up in the morning. I hate the morning.
2 gallons you need to water at least twice a day when they get big.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Wow.
Our 3 gallons
If you're a coach.
probably
I
could use.
regret the 2 gals.
We water for 35 seconds every 3 hours. I couldn't tell you our flow rate. I could tell you that it's not too much and it's not too little.
Oh, every 3 hours for yeah. So yeah.
For 35 seconds. I have no idea the amount that goes in there. It's just enough to not drip out the bottom. It's enough to feed the plant. And keep it,
Adds up about right. What? Yeah.
you know,
'Cause at work, I'd say I'd spend about
open flow and no restriction.
3 to 5 minutes of open flow, but that's once a day. So if you divide that, every 3 hours, 24, whatever, that's about right. So
Exactly.
and when I want to tap them, I'll give them 30 seconds. So that
Yeah.
makes sense. If you give them anything less than 30 seconds, it's almost detrimental. I found. So I think 30 seconds is a sweet spot.
And there's got to be a point where you're not giving them too little to where they're getting
Nutrient buildup.
that and that because you'll get nutrient lockout. Also,
Yeah.
why can't I think of the word hydrophobic? There it is.
Oh yeah. Well, what kind of drippers do you have? We have the Netafim sprayers, which I like, and those are real good about hydrophobic shit because they're
Oh, yeah,
dual-sided and they're spraying. So like,
Yeah, that's a good
it's
point.
so
Very hard
little.
down. Too.
Yeah, it's so little that it soaks in quick enough, but it's also enough that you're not sitting there for an hour watering.
We use 1/4-inch line into a T. Do a T
Okay.
and just open
Yeah.
and just control the flow rate with a ball valve at the beginning of the run. So all the plants are on the same. All the plants also have an individual, the little 1/4-inch valves. We put that right in the barb T valve, the T that it comes out and it goes, whee, and then the liquid goes whee, up the T. Just each side and flows like a nice little arch. If you have too much pressure, it goes to the side of the pot and goes straight down the side. You have a nice little rainbow arch, but right there. If you're thinking a 3-gallon pot too, so it can't go wee, right? It can't go too far. It's got to just right wee,
just a little bit.
So you got to adjust the ball valve. They all get right, but then you got that one that doesn't drink that much. So I have 2 drippers going to every plant. That one that doesn't drink that much, I will turn down one of those drippers independently.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a couple of them that don't drink as much. I turn those down independently. And then, or this one works also. The plant's a little smaller and it's drinking less. You elevate it a little bit more because then the elevation of the drip line will also cause it to not flow as much as the other ones. So you could leave it open and it'll just get less water. And I just like playing with gravity and all that flow rates and stuff like that. Just let the pump do its thing. I took out all of those restrictors and everything in my lines because all that stuff inevitably just started acting as dams, flow rate restrictions. So you get a little algae buildup in there. You don't clean it right, it just restricts. You got to pull it apart at the wrong time of the run or something like that. It's just get rid of them, and then you just eliminate that issue. Then you can clean it out in between runs and not have to worry about it backing up in the middle of a run where you got plants everywhere. It's been working good for me, and I just keep it on a minute-second timer. Simple system. Pump in a tank. Pump feeds a manifold, and manifold feeds the plants. And there's multiple manifolds off multiple manifolds, and always have a what is it called? Air restriction valve, air cutoff. What is it called?
Backflow.
Backflow. No, not backflow.
Oh, then the
Anti-siphon.
Yeah.
They sell valves for anti-siphon, which allows air into the system in a specific, like when the system's not under pressure. If the system's under pressure, it allows water to flow through. When the system's not under pressure, it allows air to come in, which kills the siphon. If you have a tank up here and it's filled with water, and you have a hose that goes out of your tank and it goes down below the water level, and it's flowing, and then you kill the pump, the force of gravity is going to create a vacuum and cause a siphon, and you're going to drain your entire reservoir onto your floor just by mechanical advantage.
You just stick a check valve in there.
Check valves can work, but you also have to be able to have a pump strong enough to push past them, I suppose. But I like I just pop a hole in the side of my thing, and I put I put an elbow barb in there, and I point it back down into the reservoir. That does a couple of things. As one of them, it gives me a high point, so I can't really overflow past, because if I do, it's just going to flow down below. That'll siphon no further than that. If I do go above that and I turn on my drippers, it will siphon no further than that. Basically, just put a hole towards the top of your reservoir and elbow down, so that when it shuts off, the air goes into there, and it will run water back into your res while your pump's on. I mean, the pump goes on, and I know my pump's on when my res is open, because I got air, or I got water flowing back into my res. So it kind of mixes your res for you a little bit while your pump's running. But at the same time, when your pump kicks off, there's an air gap there, and it allows the air to access that line, and it gurgles, go, which is what you want to hear when your pump shuts off. You want to hear the water gurgling back into your reservoir. If you don't hear anything, then you have a nice siphon going, and you should check your 4 minutes.
Silent siphon.
Silent siphon, that's right.
Yeah. They'll get you.
Yeah,
that's like at work. We got something called the silencer, because over every res in front of the flower room has a res in front of everyone. It's a cone bottom, which is a big old hole in the top.
but
You already have an automatic valve for all the nutrient lines, and they have each of their valves, but that's a separate line and shit. It goes into the tank automatically with a float valve and shit. But then above every single res, in case we want RO, there's just a dump RO valve. But like some of them, you can't just turn it on and dump it, because it'll hit the top part of the top of the tank and just make a mess. So you have to put a PVC pipe, we call it the silencer, in the fucking in there, and it's so long that it goes into the reservoir. Well, once when you turn this thing on, this thing's like 10 gallons a second. It's so much water, but it's like, but as soon as the res fills up to where that pipe is, silence. And you then you're doing other shit, because you still got 100 gallons to go. So you're like, I'm gonna go do something else, and then you're like, oh fuck. And like many times you say that because you realize down the hall you're hearing the waterfall, and you're like, well, I gotta go do that. And you go and grab the vacuum. But yeah, we call it the silencer. It gets a lot of people. I think it got me once so far. I can't remember.
It's funny because I'll be right next to my reservoir. I'll turn it on. I have an RO dump valve. I'll turn on my RO valve, and it'll be pumping decently fast, and I'll just start vacuuming.
Something.
And what's funny is 9 out of 10 times this always occurs where like I'll hit something, or like I'll shut off the vacuum or something. It will happen at the exact same time as the water hitting the floor. So I'll think I caused like an explosion or something. And for a moment, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's panic. It's chaos.
Why water is on the floor. And I'm like,
well, that's the silencer, because everything's been chill. Everything's silent in the hallway. And then all of a sudden you hear a lot of water falling a good distance hitting cement. And you're just like, that's not a good sign. So whoa, oh shit, I did this, and then you run. It used to be really bad because we ran off of fucking wall switches for all the pump. But some genius put the same switch that operates the same pump at the end of a fucking 100-foot hallway. At the other end, there's another switch. So one time, I hit the switch at the other end because we got to fill upstairs, and I got a timer. 2 minutes, 43 seconds. And
why aren't you using the timer for the other one with the silencer?
Well, because I didn't think I needed to.
Oh,
It happens. So I'm using the timer, and I'm like, all right, we're getting close. And I go and I shut off the switch at like 2 minutes 43 seconds. I shut off my switch at the end of the hall. I didn't realize my coworkers and boss were down the hall trying to fill a res, so they had flipped their switch on. So when I flipped mine off, it didn't fucking matter. So
What?
so we're still filling upstairs, and they're filling downstairs at the same time. And I get back upstairs, and I'm opening the door, and I hear water running. I go, no, 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 no! And I run downstairs, realize my switch is off, and I look down, and I realize they're running that shit. I go, shut your switch off! Shut your switch off! It was chaos. That was such a like
water running down the stairs and shit.
yeah.
Oh,
Water
damn.
coming out the door, running down the stairs because veg is
Oh my
upstairs.
god, dude.
Yeah.
Shut the switch off.
I'm sprinting, and I remember them telling me later, like, yeah, I had no idea why he's running so fast. I'm like, cause I'm only ever gonna run fast when there's something like that or worse emergency.
Take
I-
slippery when wet, man.
Well, yeah, I know, yeah, but I'm talking. This was in between the water, so I could sprint. It's a
Yeah,
long
but he had-
ways.
I'm sure he had his company issue Crocs on, and they got good.
I do.
grip.
I purchased the Crocs, and I purchased Bistro model Crocs, which not only are comfortable for your foot, but they come with a slip-resistant bottom, and you can pick cool designs like tie-dye and weed. And I found out there's hamburgers and hot dogs.
Are
And
they really
pizzas.
slip resistant? Are they oil slick shoes? Are they kitchen?
I don't know if they're oil. Yeah, they're kitchen. They're kitchen ones.
No shit.
Yeah,
they're kitchen
more
Crocs
grip.
out.
They're often on sale for $27.99. Just had to order the new guy one. $27.99 for the tie-dye ones.
Yep.
So does the shoe truck carry Crocs now when they come through
No, that'd be cool.
What's
They
the
got
shoe
red-
truck?
the shoe
Wolverine
trucks
truck or
come through with the Red Wings shoes and the fucking Crocs for you?
Oh,
man.
yeah, they should. Like, it sounds like Snap-on or something.
It's
Yeah.
like Snap-on, exactly.
Oh, that's cool. I've never seen that.
Usually it's Red Wing shoes. And there's
Yeah, Red Wings are nice.
yeah,
a lot of factories would give you a shoe allowance.
Oh, that's cool.
If you're on your feet
Your
all day.
croc dealer.
yeah. Sometimes
Yeah,
the old restaurant
standing or living isn't great, but
they'd have the shoe truck and they'd pitch in whatever 10 $20 on your shoes if you got them off the shoe truck, you know.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's you know, some business, I don't know if it's a dying industry, you know.
A lot of it's unions. A lot of the unions got that, but if you
I mean,
didn't
my
have
son has
factories.
always wore Red Wings, so that's why I'm like, I've only known to go to like the store to get Red Wings. I didn't know there was a truck to come around.
yeah, I've never heard that either, Tara. That's
Well,
cool.
imagine if you were a Red Wing boot seller and a company, a factory called you and said, "Hey, you want to come on out here and sell some shoes?"
yeah.
Clearly, I mean, they'll make exceptions.
To be fair, I was like
I'd
14,
send them a magazine.
25 years ago, so I really don't know if they still do these shoe trucks. But it was 25 years ago. I don't know how outdated.
Yeah, that's true.
Still, that would be a nice deal.
All right, so what we got on the docket for the lace test tomorrow? Since we already kind of hit a little bit
Well,
of things.
More Roman Empire,
I
man.
was gonna say, do you want to
Egypt.
talk about how some people believe the Roman Empire rode dinosaurs in battle?
What?
Yeah, there's theories out there about like
Huh.
and there's pictures where like there's a Roman guy on a raptor. It's like, are you kidding?
Really?
Oh, there's pictures of it, so they were taking pictures back then. Is that
It's
what
not
you're telling me?
picture, like the
I-
depictions. You would
I-
call
Oh,
it.
okay.
It's Jerry Garcia's album "Run for the Roses," man. He's riding a
There you go.
tiger striped T-Rex, dude.
That's crazy.
Somebody saw it.
Let me see this.
They had a dream. They fucking their dream. Trust me, man. I remember it too, man. You're flipping through your fucking auntie's record album when you're fucking 5, and you don't recall. You remember it, but you recall it when you're 30. You have no idea why you remembered it, but it's a photographic memory. You saw the picture when you were 5. It exists.
Yeah, that's pretty dark. That's pretty cool. I'll bring it up real quick.
Oh, before I forget, I've got a new place for a cannabis friendly campground. Hold on, let me go get the card for it. Be right back.
Campus friendly campground in Michigan.
Yeah,
Dope.
it's up north, pretty far
Oh.
north.
Oh, Let me guess.
Oh.
Up north and west.
By Dan, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
up
Yeah.
north
Well,
though.
by Dan's not west. That's kind of in the middle.
So it's called Pine Leaf, cannabis friendly camping. Some guy that comes into work frequently at the axe throwing restaurant. It's his buddy, Tim, and there's also a QR code on the back.
Maybe you guys can scan.
I
It
believe
says,
it's a cannabis friendly, and you can throw. He's licensed for us to throw an event.
Mansalona.
Mansalona, is that what it is?
Is that where it's at?
He's
Oh.
licensed for us to throw an event.
That's what I said. He's licensed for us.
He's probably got the license for a. event
He is
center.
wheelchair accessible, handicap accessible.
But not for us.
Well,
That's
I
for
think
like
it's for us.
corporate cannabis places.
Yeah, but us.
But us.
We're gonna use
He
it.
got his
Hey,
license.
they got a McDonald's now.
Let's see. So he himself is in a wheelchair, so it is handicap accessible, friendly. But yeah, definitely. I believe if I'm correct here, it's like $61 for a campsite, possibly. I think I'm right. That was what was on the one flyer I saw. So I believe the guy's name's Tim.
Night or weekend.
And
$1 a
I'm
night.
hoping to find out some more information. I'm gonna reach out to him and see what I can. I just got this card this weekend, so yeah, another cannabis friendly.
We'll have to talk about that with group rates and stuff. 61 seems kind of steep.
Yeah, I could get a
Yeah,
hotel
like
room.
I don't know what the norm is. I have no
I think,
idea.
I think that's just for one of the cabins.
And
Thinking
that
about
might have been for a cabin too.
It goes
'Cause they have
into-
cabins.
And then
Like
you-
I said, I don't have much information. I just got a little bit.
That's potable water, toilet.
I don't think
That's
there's
allowed.
I don't even think there's. Yeah, it's pretty rustic.
Was it?
It was pretty rustic.
Hey, we've been to some
Pretty-
rustic
Pretty
places
cheap
now.
rates for a rustic
Oh yeah,
camp.
Right?
61 a night. I thought it
Yeah.
was 69.
that was
Where-
for the
okay.
whole cabin.
Okay,
then
where
you can
was
put
the one
tents on
place
it,
that
too.
we went to
Oh,
where they
okay,
just
okay.
freshly cut down the field and we put our tents out and they poked holes all up through our tent? Where the
Where-
hell was that?
Oh, that
Where
was
the
at
people were fucking next to us with Lucas.
one of those events we went to.
They were
Oh,
fucking with
Jesus
Blue Kiss? What
Christ.
the hell kind of party
Yeah,
is
what
that?
is this
Tent
going
over.
Damn,
on?
Blue Kiss.
No,
Lucas.
we
Dang.
went over. Blue
Getting
Kiss
a
and us were
ride out
subjected
there.
to it.
Wow.
No, we were subjected to it. But it was like I don't remember.
was
You and Becca came on like the last day of it. You couldn't. You were coming from Gems and Genetics, I think, is what it was.
Was it blue? Was it one of the big cloud events or something?
Ugh, I don't know.
About
About
Hareem,
Oh,
Camp Hareem.
it might have been the Camp Hareem thing, possibly, because I do remember being hashish and rosinish kind of situation. I don't know, but I know you and Becca came the last day.
Yeah, it was Camp Hareem. That's we
Okay.
haven't done many events.
That was rustic.
Yeah.
That was this place you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh,
not-
I
it's
met
not the
that
same.
guy. Okay, I met that guy.
Is this
No,
guy?
it's not the same.
No,
This
it's
is not the same guy she started
No.
talking about.
Why are you
first.
saying that?
Because that's what I thought. They,
Oh no, no, I was just saying it was rustic, is all.
yeah, yeah.
You said, oh, that's not the same place. You.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
oh, all right.
No, I'm just saying. We've been to some really rustic places that we've went to. So
They approached us and they said that they were an organic farm and everything. So I feel kind of bad talking about that place being on a glyphosate field. But I felt like my shit was, I don't know. I mean, organic could still be.
no, it probably was organic, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it just
I don't know if you're hanging out in the middle of a sprayed field. I don't care if it's organic or not. Just good.
I don't know about the spraying part of it.
We all smelled shit. That's all.
I just know they just chopped a bunch of stuff down, and I'm not sure.
It smelled like fucking some kind of chemicals out there, but they say it's organic.
Okay, so it's never going to get more wild than when we stayed for the grow off, and we stayed at the one place and we saw that
Oh,
plane spraying the thing when we were standing over the bank looking out onto the big lake there, and that little plane came by spraying.
Yeah.
Sprayed the
Yeah.
water, and then the cloud of the.
I think that's like the wildest thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, they were probably spraying spraying the seaweed and spraying the lake.
oh.
Yeah, you said that, and I didn't know about stuff like that. So
Oh, dude, oh man,
Algae blooms and
dude, do we have to get into geoengineering on the late sesh? We might have to get into
We
geo.
can do that. Add it to
there
the
you
list.
go.
They're
Intro
spraying
to
the
tornado.
shit out of us, Tara. Like,
First,
they're
we'll talk about engineering on stone pyramids, and then we'll talk about.
spraying
Yeah, we're
shit
good
out
for
of us.
something.
What you mean the ancient power plant
Dioxide.
production?
Like that.
Oh, just how they built the pyramids. With
That's free energy power plant, man. That's what that was.
Yeah.
My dad got sniffed out at the airport because he had aluminum on because he had deodorant on.
What do you mean he got sniffed out?
Sniffed out. Bomb dogs sniffed him out because he
He had deodorant on?
deodorant. Yeah, because it's got aluminum in it.
I've
A
been
lot of
sniffed,
deodorant
I've
with
been
aluminum.
sniffed out
I think.
before.
No, it's not good for you. You're putting it right on your lymph nodes.
I don't
Aluminum,
wear deodorant.
aluminum is a neurotoxin.
Well, I hope he's putting it on his skin and not on his lymph nodes.
Your lymph nodes are in your. You have lymph nodes right here in your armpits, right beneath your.
Yeah,
skin.
but not on the outside of your body. They're in there, man.
Yeah, but your armpits are.
Yeah, but they say that like deodorant with aluminum in it is like that's
Your,
like a
your
real bad.
armpits are
Yeah, but what brand does he use? That how many people use that brand?
A lot of people.
A lot of people get flagged at the airport. I don't know.
Really? I didn't know that for deodorant.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I ain't gonna wear deodorant next time.
Oh, Dad said metal detectors got him, not the bomb dog.
Oh, metal detector.
Metal
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's some sensitive metal detectors.
Yeah, think how much metal there is on that, if that's the case, or is it an accumulation and it's inside you? Where's the metal?
I think the person that was working there had the hots for Daddy Red and just wanted to give him a little extra time.
Gold bond.
That's what it was.
Oh, even worse.
Hold on.
It's even worse than the lymph nodes. Putting aluminum there.
Aren't they like connected to that company that got sued? The talcum powder.
Yeah,
Johnson & Johnson?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all connected there.
See, Daddy Red said he gave him a wink. See? Mystery solved. There you go.
Why they call it a rod? My family, the rod sets off the metal detectors.
What are we talking about now, Red?
I don't know, the golden rod.
Yeah. What the world?
The golden metal detector setting off rod.
They got those fancy new metal detectors that, like, I'm pretty sure just zap you with all kinds of beams. If you've been to the airport, they're like, you have to walk in this pod and go like this, and I feel like it's just. Yeah.
You gotta make a triangle above your head.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah. So like, it's.
What is that? What, we gotta make some weird cult
Airport
symbol?
lately
What
because
is
I
this?
don't know what
No,
you're
it's a
talking
big
about.
scanner.
Yeah.
We gotta make the all-seeing eye fucking symbol above our head. What the fuck
No,
is that?
because if you do this, all your shit's exposed for the scanner. But I'm just like,
Land of the
you guys are
free.
gonna find out in 10, 20 years this wasn't good, and I had no consent
Look
other
up the
than if I
stats.
wanted to travel. Like,
Look
I
at
had
the
to go
stats for
through it.
the TSA and all that. How many fucking plots they've stopped and foiled, and all these extra precautions. 0. They've confiscated a bunch of garbage, but
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it on the late sesh, everybody. Thanks for hanging, chat.
Speaking of hanging, that metal knee's hanging low too.
That's the thing. The bionic knee didn't set it off. The talcum powder did.
What? I'm pretty sure it was the knee.
No, it was the does your thing hang low region. It wasn't the knee. It was the golden rod, man.
I'm pretty sure. It was me.
Okay. We'll discuss this further tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.
Cheers, everybody.
Keep growing.